All right, folks, welcome to PowerUp Podcast, Season 6, Episode 5. Yes, Episode 5. Oh, man, even I can't remember. Season 6 is going by super fast already. I have two very special guests with me tonight, BxA Phoenix and BxA Jade of, well, you could have guessed, Team BxA Broken Alliance Gaming. And they have sponsored a couple players in the Cincinnati area, and what's interesting is that they reach all over, and I think we actually hear a puppy in the background. So say hi, Jess.
Hi, everyone. This is BxA Jade, or Jessica.
There you go. And then Dwight, please introduce yourself.
This is Dwight, aka BxA Phoenix.
And I've got puppies too. We might hear some cameos, but who's our special guest star puppy tonight, Jess?
I have a little Coda. He's our 2-year-old husky puppy with me.
Oh, that's a cute name, Coda. I love that. Well, very good. I have got Jade and Phoenix here tonight, folks, to talk Team BxA. And it's not just fighting games, it's encompassing what you might refer to as esports. And it's very interesting to me, and I really can't wait to get this podcast going. So let's jump right in with today's news segment. Right. So the first thing up on the agenda, the Capcom Pro Tour Online. I did hear that it filled up within minutes of being launched. Do you know if BxA Squall was able to put his hat in the ring for that?
Unfortunately, with how fast that filled up, none of our BxA Street Fighter 5 players were able to compete in that online event. All of our guys are excited about the opportunity to compete in the online tournament, so they're looking forward to the next one. But that did fill up extremely fast. We did hear nothing but good things about how it ran. So our team members are looking forward to the next one. Yes. Hopefully it doesn't conflict with any of their events, because all of the players who compete in Street Fighter V for BxA have multiple events coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So
excellent.
We have to keep an eye on that date.
For the listeners who might have a little bell rang when I mentioned BxA Squall, he is an Indianapolis player. I believe he's from Indianapolis, correct?
No, BxA Squall is actually in Dayton, Ohio.
Is he from Dayton? Okay, nice.
Yeah, he resides in Dayton, Ohio, and so he does travel and compete. He's been competing out at the Red Bull qualifiers at the Chicago Regional. He's currently in 3rd place at the Chicago region. So he currently, if he holds that position, will be able to qualify to make the trip to Seattle for the Red Bull Proving Grounds.
Awesome.
So we're hoping everything continues on there. But no, he is one of our many Ohio players.
Yeah.
Our fighting games.
We'll talk about more of them for sure. You know, the reason I thought he was from Indy was that he used to be in B-Squall Net Battles, and Net Battles is an Indiana-based thing. And we'll talk more about how you guys got a hold of Squall. But yeah, for the listeners, Squall 17th place out of a field of around 5,000 people at EVO 2016, not even a month ago. And so that's amazing and really was a boon for the Midwest scene. So he did extraordinarily well, I believe, with a mixture of Cammy and Nakali for those interested.
Straight Nakali.
Did he go straight Nakali for EVO?
He is a straight Nakali. He is a straight Nakali player.
Oh, well then he must have just been fiddling with us at Arcade Legacy because he was playing Cammy a little bit, but that's okay.
He is a straight Nakali player,
cool.
And that was actually his very first EVO.
Yeah, well that's awesome. Nice. So
yes.
I'm really happy that the Pro Tour is something that you all have your ears to the ground for. It sounds like Squall is doing excellently. And then there's a lot of other online tournaments in general. In your opinion, both of you, whoever would like to take this question first, has online tournaments for fighting games, they've been growing. It's something new to the FGC, but as a gaming team, you have people competing online in first-person shooters, strategy games, Hearthstone. You have a player for Hearthstone. So for you all, this must be sort of just a walk in the park, right?
For the online tournament, it is kind of like a walk in the park because we have a lot of experience with it. We've started way back when in first-person shooters for online events, but as FGC titles, as other games come out more into the open for esports and opting to have these online tournaments, it's giving a more diverse opportunity to kind of walk into and experience more competitiveness. At the same time, it's also giving players the opportunity to compete that aren't able to, let's say, travel to bigger LAN events, because you can still have the same type of interactions, just it's a little different.
Absolutely. And I know also that KI World Cup is doing, what's it called, 8-bit Beatdown, I believe, is their online scene, and you have one, maybe up to 3 killer. How many Killer Instinct players do you have on the team at the moment?
Currently, we have 2. BxA Jackal and BxA Frank the Human is our newest Killer Instinct player. He just recently joined our roster back in July, and he actually just competed. BxA Frank the Human just competed at Defend the North last weekend, where he placed 13th. And did phenomenal in his first event under BxA Gaming. We are very proud of him. And he is from Connecticut. And Jackal is actually another Ohio player of ours. So he is in KI. So those are our 2 KI players on the roster at this time.
Yeah, Jackal is a friend of mine who was on the podcast previously. For people who'd like to skip back to the very abbreviated Season 5, he went under the name Kinshin Oyo back then, but same guy. Garrett is an excellent gentleman, and as BxA Jackal, I know he will do really cool things for you guys. But yeah, if I encourage people to check out the BxA website, it's actually very well organized. I love that you have everyone's streams up and able to see who's online, so it's really a great portal just for seeing competitive action in different games, which I thought was actually really cool. So kudos to you folks for that. And speaking of sort of like content development, there is BxA DAC is a name that I saw, and he is helping you develop the YouTube channel, is that correct?
Yes, Dak is our manager of streaming and also our content creation, which is basically our BxA YouTube channel.
Nice.
He just was recently brought on board, so we actually just met with him this past weekend, and the development of the YouTube channel and our BxA Gaming Twitch channel continues. We're implementing some strategies to get content going on both those channels. Our players are going to play active roles in both those processes. One of the things we're doing is our players are going to be developing some game tricks and tips and in some of the various games that we're in, and we're going to be posting those to the YouTube channel. So those are going to be going up there here in the coming weeks.
Awesome.
So that fans can check out that and learn some tips and tricks from our KI guys, our Street Fighter guys, our Halo, our Gears, our COD, from our various games, not just our fighting game titles, but also our shooting games and everything in the other games we're in. We're also going to be getting our BxA Gaming Twitch channel up and running, where we're going to feature some of our players, and they're going to start streaming on that channel. We're looking to do 3 to 4 days a week where that channel is active, and we are also going to be bringing on streamers and content creators who want to join BxA Gaming for just those areas.
Okay, very cool.
We're not just about bringing on new competitive teams. We're also about bringing on people who are interested in joining us for streaming and content creating. There's applications on our website on the contact us page that you can submit to join us for those areas, and then Dak, myself, and Phoenix will review those applications and reach out for interviews and so on.
Awesome.
that's a way that those individuals who are interested in joining BxA in those areas we're actually looking to build stream teams and content creation teams.
Cool. Well, there you go, folks. That's really cool because for people who aren't necessarily super competitive, they like to play competitively, right? But maybe they don't have that drive and fire to go to tournaments, for example, or maybe they feel like they won't be, who knows? But for you to be able to offer something else for people to become a part of a team for, other than just, it's not just competitive gaming team, it's, gaming team, and that's a really cool idea that I personally have never really heard. So very nice. And that was a really good transition as well for talking about addition of players. The next question was going to be any other games you have interest in revealing additions for, and it seems like you're going in a very interesting direction by adding not games but content. And I think that's really cool. Once you guys get that set up, I would love to put that on the PowerUp channel as a featured channel, and I'll share whatever I can. Using what reach I have, I would be more than happy to do that. So for sure.
We really appreciate that. We are at this time, and we do have some news we would like to reveal.
Yeah.
We are looking to expand our PC side of BxA Gaming. Currently, the PC side of BxA Gaming consists of a CSGO team and a Dota 2 team. Mm-hmm. However, we are looking to expand and add teams for Heroes of the Storm, League of Legends, Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege, Rocket League, and Smite.
Nice.
Those would be North American-based PC teams. Mm-hmm. At this time, BxA Gaming is strictly North American-based. We're not ready to branch overseas yet. Mm-hmm. That's not something we're ready for just yet. We want to make our mark here in North America,
sure.
and then move overseas. That's a market we're just not ready to. We don't have the resources to devote yet.
Of course, you don't want to overextend.
No, we don't. We want to make sure we're providing and obtaining our goals here first before we tackle a new foreign market like that. Mm-hmm. But we are looking to expand our PC side of BxA Gaming. We feel at this time our fighting games division is very strong with the teams we have. Mm-hmm. We are keeping our eyes on what games are coming from the fighting games side. Mm-hmm. And should a new game come out that the community gets behind and support, we would add at that time. From the shooting games realm on Xbox and PlayStation, we are content with the games we're in at this point. Mm-hmm. We do have a Gears of War Ultimate Edition. We have players that are transitioning to Gears 4 that we will be working to build a team around.
Cool.
So at this time, PC is where we're looking to build.
Very nice.
And get stronger in.
Absolutely. Sounds cool. And I'm sure that in the description of this podcast, I can put a little transcription for you listeners. If you're interested in any of those games that Jade mentioned, then drop them a line. See if you can get an interview or get a, what would you call it? A tryout. There we go.
Well, if anybody is interested, if you visit our website, on our Contact Us page, there is an application for PC players or teams that you can submit. We kind of have everything outlined, what information we would need. Mm-hmm. You can select which game you're interested in joining us for, and all those form applications get collected, and then either myself or Dwight will personally reach out to those applicants and continue the process from there. So we would look forward to hearing from anybody who would be interested.
Excellent. That's awesome. So the last part on the news segment before we start the strategy segment, for people who are inevitably going to be interested in BxA, Custom Config is one of your sponsors. Could you tell me a little bit about what Custom Config is, what they do, and how they help you, how people who are going to be becoming fans of BxA can support you through your sponsors?
Sure. Custom Config is our apparel company, so they handle all of our jerseys, all of the apparel that any BxA players are wearing with our logo on it. That could include our hats, again, jerseys, T-shirts, hooded sweatshirts. We have an apparel shop on their website, and any fans or supporters of BxA can visit that apparel shop and purchase any BxA apparel using our code, which is BxA, our clan tag. And using that code, you can save money. They have been wonderful to us. They have always met our demands or needs, I should say, for getting apparel to our players in time. Yeah. The apparel itself is so comfortable. Our jerseys it's a dry fit material jersey, so our players are very comfortable regardless of the temperatures. You know, when you're at an event with thousands of people, the temperature change always goes crazy. Our players are always comfortable. Myself and Phoenix, we each have a jersey we wear when we're at our events with our players to support. They have been our sponsor since day one. We also are working with another great sponsor called Stickerich. They are a removable sticker company. You can smack their stickers on your consoles, your monitors, your cell phones, your laptops, and you can pull it off and smack it on somewhere else, and it doesn't leave any sticky residue. Really cool. They're a really great product. We also have a store on their site that you can purchase BxA stickers from. Again, our code is BxA, so you can support the organization and our players. And their product is really, like I said, we just actually got some new stickers in the other day, and we love their product. Awesome. And our newest sponsor that we haven't really been letting the cat out of the bag too much about.
Oh, okay, here we go.
So this is some insider information for you.
Awesome.
Our newest sponsor is Controller Chaos.
Ah, very cool.
We are very excited to work with this team, and there will actually be some BxA branded controllers. These controllers. So currently, you can go to Controller Chaos's website and purchase any controllers, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation. You can purchase fight sticks. You can purchase GameCube controllers for our Smash guys, our Melee players. You can purchase any controllers currently, and you can use our code BxA and save some money. But coming soon will be BxA branded controllers. Like I said, we're working with them now on the concept design, and we will be releasing those concept art just as soon as it's ready. We had the great opportunity of meeting the Controller Chaos team at CEO back in June. It was the event was held in Orlando. We had a really nice presence there. There was about eight of us were there competing. I was there, so that was 9 of us. And we had a great opportunity of meeting the team, and afterwards we went back and started negotiations with them, and they are our newest sponsor, so we're super excited to work with them. And so that is the newest member of the BxA family.
Well, that is awesome.
Yes, we're excited. And the greatest thing about them, and with all of our sponsors, is they support all of our teams. It's not just one division or one side of our organization. Right. In the Trace of Controller Chaos, our Xbox players can get controllers. Our PlayStation guys, our fighting game guys who use fight sticks, our Smash and Melee guys can get GameCube controllers, and hopefully soon even our PC guys may be able to end up with keyboards and mice.
Custom keyboards and mice.
Possibly that's something that might come down the line. Nice. So that's what we try to look for with sponsors, is somebody that can benefit the majority of our teams and players, not just a few. And that's very hard to sometimes do, but that's what we try to look for. And that's, like I said, the biggest thing with the current sponsors, the luxury we have with all of our current sponsors is they benefit the majority to almost every one of our players and teams.
That's an excellent segue. So let's start today's strategy segment. We'll be talking particularly about gaming teams. So let's start the music. Okay, so we'll do it a little out of order, doesn't matter. So you were talking about sponsorships and opportunities that can do things for your team. Keep elaborating, keep going. So what else do you look for when you are looking for sponsors? Either person. Dwight, we haven't heard from you, so you go for it.
Okay. Let's see. Well, for a lot of things that we look for in our sponsors is how can they benefit all of our players, not just individual, not just, okay, let's see, I'll use our FGC guys and our Melee guys. We don't want sponsors that are only going to cater to one group. We want them to cater to all of our players, whether it be controllers, whether it be apparel, whether it be stickers, whether it be consumables like jerky, drinks, candy, gum, anything of that kind of sort. It's just more of, can it benefit all of our players? We want products that we stand behind, that we've used before. We don't just want to go out and get a sponsor to say the fact, oh, well, we just picked up this brand new sponsor and we have no idea what their products are.
Right, yeah. Now,
we want products that we can firmly say behind, yes, we've used their product, yes, we enjoy them, yes, we love them, and we want to support this, and we want to work with them to grow their brand as well as our own.
Nice, yeah, absolutely. So it's a relationship that both give, both get, and that's something I've always been interested in with sponsors and gaming teams. Is once you have a sponsor and you have that relationship, and you keep growing, where do you all see BxA growing? Is it more sponsors? Is it more players? Once you have a foundation, and you all have a very strong foundation, and you're growing, what's the next step? What's like the 5-year plan? And you don't have to go into crazy specifics, but once you sort of collect what you have gotten, all these resources, players, sponsors, what's the next step?
Well, the next step would be the gradual basis for us. Our 5-year plan is to essentially be a force to reckon with inside of the esports area. We don't want to be known just by a few players. We want to be known. We want to become a household name. And that's something that's going to take time. It's something that's going to happen overnight. Our 5-year plan is to essentially build enough sponsorships, enough brand recognition to be able to pick up some of these players that don't have the opportunities to go to these big national events or overseas events, and essentially basically help them grow inside their community and make them achieve their goals that they set for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to support our players because they, as Jade mentioned before, we are a family. We want to make sure that you're taken care of as well as we're taken care of, but at the same time, we want to help give you every opportunity you have to achieve the goals that you may or may not be able to achieve on your own.
Absolutely. And you mentioned new team, new solicitation, people who'd like to contribute applications for the new games, and again, we'll have those in the description of this podcast if you players out there would like to check it out. But what makes you choose certain games over another? Because I'm not sure, you don't have a Starcraft player, do you?
No, we do not. That is one of the games, because I am a very avid player, not as competitive in the Starcraft universe or real-time strategy games, but I do enjoy playing them, and I do enjoy being competitive in them. But at the current moment, that is not a game that we do have a current player for, and it's something that we will be looking to build into. We just haven't reached that point yet. As Jade said before, we are expanding our PC presence from just our CSGO team, from our Dota 2 team. We want to branch out into the other competitive games that are out there for the PC.
Yeah. When you were mentioning some of the games earlier, Smite, Heroes of the Storm, League of Legends, they all have similar playstyles, MOBAs mostly, correct? So with that, do you plan on perhaps having some of your existing players play on those teams and having some of their skills transfer over? Is that something that you've considered?
That is something that we have considered, and from a standpoint, we do emphasize to all of our players that you're not locked into whatever game you came to us in. You have the opportunity, if you feel that you are losing interest or you want to advance your skills in another game, you're more than welcome to come talk to us on that. You're not going to be ignored and think that, oh, well, I have to continue playing this game because that's what they're sponsoring me for.
Yeah, absolutely. I was doing some research into the different, not various, what's a good way to say it, into the different levels of prizes and the different numbers of competition that different games have. Starcraft and League of Legends obviously being there at the tippy top. And then you've got things like Halo and then CSGO right underneath. And then it trickles down. Fighting games are still very much, I believe, on the bottom of the rung. And then you have games within genres that are more popular than others. Street Fighter more so than Killer Instinct. Smash Brothers more so than Mortal Kombat. And then League of Legends more so than Heroes of the Storm. And I've seen things online, people talk about, well, I like the game because of this, I like the game. And those are people who are commenting on the style of the game, the characters, the different rule changes that make one game different from another. But for a gaming team, for an organization, having teams in multiple games in similar genres, what are some of the pros and cons of that setup for you all?
Well, some of the pros I would say would be it gives all of our players, because starting with the fighting game, we are emphasizing the aspect because we originally started off from a team-based game, competitive game. We're emphasizing that structure onto our fighting game players to be treated not as individuals, but as more of a team. They spar with each other, they lab with each other, they practice, and they learn from each other so that they're able to grow and get better. They're not just singled out, they're not out there by themselves.
Yeah, that aspect of... Oh, go ahead, Jade.
And I also want to stress that since they're tournaments, when you go to a fighting game event, it's not normally some of the bigger events. It's not just a Street Fighter tournament.
Correct.
You have Mortal Kombat, you have KI, you have Street Fighter, you have Tekken 7, you have Smash, you have Melee. You have so many of these other so many of these other games there. So our guys travel together, and so they're there and they support each other. One of the things we stress to our players is that as long as it doesn't impact your performance, your match, you preparing for your match, you're eating, you're sleeping, you making your match on time and whatnot, cheer for your fellow BxA member. Whether, we understand if there's 7 of you guys at an event, you can't make all 7 members pool matches.
Right.
But take time out and be there for one of your fellow team members' matches. That's something we stress very heavily. For example, we have Summer Jam in Pennsylvania coming up the end of August, August 19th, 20th, and 21st. We have 7 BxA members competing.
Awesome.
So, and they're all going to be there together. So, one of the things we're stressing on them is that, in between your pool play matches, find out when one of your fellow team members is competing and go support them. Make sure you eat, make sure you rest, but also go support your fellow team member. And that's one of the ways that, from our team approach, that's what we believe in, and that's one of the things.
It's that aspect
and that
of
way
family.
It is, and that's also so they don't feel alone, because while they're still building their names, at least they have that 1 or 2 people in their corner cheering them on.
Right.
So that's just one of the things we preach about, and that's the family team approach that we're preaching.
Very cool, and that is a good sort of relation to the next question of how you balance attention to all the players. Obviously, you all manage your time extraordinarily well. Otherwise, you couldn't even be on this podcast because you have got so many players to keep in touch with and things like that. So I really like that the players almost do some of that work for you, which is really cool. You've delegated the responsibilities of motivation and camaraderie to the players themselves, and you don't have to be on the phone with your players 24/7 micromanaging their emotions. You can leave that to others in their genre or others who they are simply traveling with to do that for you, and I think that's really cool.
What we've done is we have on the Smash and Melee team, we have actually a team captain, BxA Biggs, who is also from Ohio. He actually is the main point of contact for that team. So all the guys go to him first, and then him and I communicate. probably on a almost daily basis. We text constantly. All of our players within BxA have Phoenix's cell phone, my cell phone. They have our Twitters, they have our Facebook, they have our emails, so they can call us, contact us 24/7. No
cool.
player, we are not out of reach for any of our player. They can contact us whether it's gaming related or personal related issue. We're here for them. On the fighting game side, I talk to probably almost every one of the guys almost daily via any method. Our teams, each of our shooting games, there is a team captain and a team co-captain.
Mm-hmm.
They are the main points of go-tos within the team for team issues, and then they communicate with me very regularly, at least weekly, if not daily, on some of the teams, depending on what the game and how active the team is and what's going on. We also have team meetings. In fact, I have a fighting game team meeting coming up on Sunday where we're going to have it on Discord. We have a BxA Discord server, and that's another way we foster communication. We're trying to move everybody to Discord, so that way, regardless of being on Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, we're trying to move everyone to utilize Discord, and have this general text and voice area. That way they can all communicate, because some of our guys have Twitter, some of them have Facebook.
Right.
So it's like Discord is that one thing that we're getting everybody to start utilizing to interact and further develop that sense of foster family. Our guys are very good about tweeting and retweeting and about their accomplishments of their fellow BxA member, whether it's first, congratulating them for their tournament placing or their retweeting of their streams and things like that. But we're trying to get them interacting more, and that's what we're going to start utilizing Discord for.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are really good at the hands-on aspect of this too. You're very in there making cool changes to help the players communicate better with each other. So that's excellent, very much so.
And we're all implementing our management team. We have an Xbox general manager who, of course, facilitates a lot of the Xbox side. We had a phenomenal PC general manager who unfortunately had to step back due to some personal things. So we're working to replace him, he left some very big shoes to fill. He's still a good friend of ours, and so we're working to fill that side of things. So our management team is also going to help the organization as well.
Awesome.
That side of things. But right now it's Phoenix and I. All of our guys know they can come to us, like I said, for anything, and we talk to them. I think almost whether it's me they talk to or they talk to Phoenix, pretty much daily or weekly. I don't think any player goes without 2 weeks without talking to one of us.
Nice. Well, that's very cool.
And it could just be to say hello, hey, what's going on, or hey, this is what the team's doing, or hey, or just to say, hey, I have an event. This is my event. This is my next events for the next month, because we have a 30-day heads-up policy on events, just so that we know what's going on. So they could just be giving us the heads-up, on the events. So
very cool. You guys definitely have it down to a science, so that's excellent. We're going to go ahead and skip this last question in the strategy segment, and right now we are going to jump into tonight's community segment. I really do love the emphasis you guys have on the word family and on being able to bring people together. Let's talk about where that comes from with the sort of the history of the inception of Broken Alliance Gaming, from initial idea to current implementation. Where are you guys coming from? How did you come up with this idea? Give us a history lesson on BxA. Dwight, if you'd like to go first.
Yep, I can definitely give you the history, because it's a very interesting history. We originally started out as an Xbox 360 Gears of War clan, is where we originally got our roots from. That's where we started from. we were a part. Well, I was a part of a clan called Eastside Assassins.
Hmm.
We basically started out there. We were a group of guys that we've played with. I played with them probably for about good 2-3 years or so, and we ended up separating from them due to disagreements with how the clan leader wanted to continue to run things and credit not being given to all of our players or the captains that we had at the time.
Yeah.
So we ended up basically coming apart and leaving, and then we ended up kind of sitting there for 3-4 hours, actually probably a couple more days than that, because we didn't know what we were going to call ourselves. Because we basically, it was the term Broken Alliance came from the simple fact that we all came from different teams, different clans, different organizations, from different backgrounds, and it was something that, whether it was good or bad that happened, we all came together to work towards building something great.
Yeah, it reminds me of the CEO title, Community Effort Orlando, after the failure of, I forget the name of the event actually, but I know that Mr. Jabali took over once another event in the state of Florida failed, and Community Effort Orlando was born. It sounds like a very similar origin story for BxA, and that's really cool.
Yeah, and like I said, and Jade came to us. Luckily, she came to us from another organization or clan, which was called PMS, or Pandora's Mighty Soldiers. They were a very predominant force inside of the competitive community aspect of gaming back in, I believe it was 2000. I think it might have been 2006, or was it 2004? Because I know
They started in 2004. I joined in 2006. Their main thing was promoting female gaming. So there was the PMS side was all female gamers, and then they had the brother clan, which was H2O, who was all guys. Their main thing was supporting the female gamers, and their big thing was to try to get more female gamers into the gaming industry. And it was a great philosophy, and I was there up until 2008, and then I decided to leave because I felt like I could continue to be a female gamer and be supported, but I didn't have to only compete with females. And I decided I decided to join up with Broken Alliance after meeting them in a game battles match.
Oh, nice. That's really cool. What game were you playing?
We were playing Gears of War 1.
And so, Jade, I'm so curious now. What about that interaction? First of all, who won? I want to know who won. Do you remember?
Broken Alliance, they beat my team at the time in the match, and we ended up staying good friends. Like, our clans became good friends and started having weekly scrims. And then, like I said, we continued doing that through Gears 1, Gears 2. And then in Gears 2, when that came released, is when I made the switch and left the organization I had been in and switched over to Broken Alliance, and have since remained to this day.
Yeah, that's such an interesting story. Like a chance meeting online, shooting each other and curb stomping, and then
rag tagging.
Yeah, and then such the alliance was born. Wow, that's really cool. So, wow, that's so interesting. So let's continue on. So that's sort of how you two met, and then how did you two emerge as the leaders? Did you also, Dwight, for the original clan that you were part of, were you sort of in a leadership role for creating what would become BxA? And then Jade, how did you sort of not co-opt, not co-sign, but cooperate? There we go. How did you cooperate at that highest level? How'd that come about?
Well, what happened there was, in the last clan we were in before BxA was brought into fruition, I was actually one of the co-leaders and one of the founding members of it before we separated. And when we separated, there was 3 of us that were known that originally were part of it. There's actually there was 4 of us that were originally that came with us when we left. There was myself, there was our co-leader at the time, which was Infinite Grim, or he also goes by Ryan. There is Borrowed Power, who was another one of our co-leaders, and that's Drew. And then there was our captain, that he used to go by a tag called Soaked Rain, but he goes by Thor and Robin now. So those were the 4 original members that it all started with. And we all stuck together through thick and thin. Yeah, we've had our differences, but we all still stay in touch. Now, Drew is actually Borrowed Power. He is actually our website and graphics manager, he does all of our graphics and websites and website work for us besides the content, which is put in by Jade.
Well, then kudos to him for the development of the website, which, as I said earlier, people should check out, not only to learn more about you, but it is really just a well-constructed website.
And then when I came into BxA, I actually just came in initially as a plain Jane member, worked my way up to team captain, and then stayed along. And then when we decided to take BxA from a clan to an org is when we kind of took it to where I was serving more of the role of co-owner,
Gotcha.
chief operating. So it was kind of just moved into the role of what I'm doing these days, which, is what I'm doing these days. But I worked my way from just a plain Jane gamer through on up the ranks from 2008 to now.
Wow, that's really cool. So that's really awesome. The history seems like a combination of chance, circumstance, and then just some good old-fashioned elbow grease and willpower, and those are some of my favorite stories, so that's excellent. When it comes to fans, players, commentators, anybody, I'm going to combine a couple questions here, but what would you like fans and anybody in the communities, the various gaming communities, to understand most about BxA, and then how can they connect with you? So yes, the two-pronged question, but what would you want people to take away as this is the BxA message, and how can those people act on that message?
I would say the easiest thing to take away from this and our message would be that we are not just we're not in it to build a brand, get recognition, and basically just be there and then gone the next day. We want to be a forerunner to help promote the esports area, promote the players, give them an opportunity to reach their goals that they are not able to get to themselves. We want to make sure that to instill that we're not just in it to make a quick buck. We're not in it to just take advantage of the players. We're in it because we want to nurture and grow the communities that we are involved in, as well as get those players to grow better and better themselves. We want them to be aware that we are a family, and when we say we are a family, we do take care of our players just like they were family members. We don't ignore any of them. We basically want to make sure that if there's an issue, we are always available to take care of it, and that if it's something that we can't resolve, then we will work towards a resolution that satisfies everybody.
Okay.
Go ahead. And we do maintain our own core values to make sure that they don't go anywhere. That's truth, loyalty, respect, honor, and family.
Nice.
And the other thing is BxA, since Phoenix and I and everyone who's involved in BxA, we are competitive gamers. We're not just people who decided one day, let's do an esports organization. No,
right.
We've been competitive gamers. We've competed. We've never had the pro title ourselves, but we've gone to LAN events ourselves. We've competed in online events ourselves, so we understand the stresses of the competitive player.
Sure.
We understand what it's like, and So we're here to help those players reach their goals and dreams, and we can help them and provide those tools. And we're here to help our players, and with what we're able to give our players today, we're here to give them better tomorrow. I mean, we're doing what we can for them today with the hope of tomorrow even doing more for our current guys. So that's kind of why we're today not expanding as much more, because we want to make what we have for our current guys better.
Sure.
I know earlier we were talking a little bit about our guys, and we were saying how many guys we have are from Ohio, but we have guys in New York, Delaware, Connecticut, Florida, Canada.
Oh, nice.
We have, Virginia, New Jersey. Basically, we've got players all across the United States. We just have Puerto Rico. We have a player. We just have a chunk of players in Ohio. Like our entire Smash Melee team is Ohio based. Yeah, our entire Smash Melee team is Ohio, plus some of our fighting game players. But we do have a broad-reaching players. I said two of our two newest Tekken 7 players are both based in Florida, where Dwight and I are. We're in Florida. One of our Mortal Kombat Street Fighter guys is in Canada. I said our newest KI, he's in Connecticut. So I said we have players in most of the states. So we're BxA is United States and in Canada. So we're
North America.
We're around, yeah. We are North America.
Work on Mexico. Yeah, Mexico's North America, so you'll have to work on
Mexico does compete Mexico does compete under the North American banner. That's just currently that is one area we are not currently in, but we are proud to say that we do have players all across the United States and in Canada. So BxA Slacked and Ninja are our two Canada players. We have a COD player in Canada, and also Slacked is our fighting game player up in Canada. So we're proud of those two guys. But so I do want to make sure everyone knows that BxA is, because I get a lot of that sometimes. People think, oh, you guys are just in Ohio. It's like, no, that's just where a chunk of our players are.
Oh, really? People actually say that?
Yeah, people actually do think we're Ohio based, and it's like, no, I just have a huge chunk of my players in the Ohio region, which is where my Smash Melee guys all are currently. And then I have, like I said, I have Squall, Hornet. I don't know if you know BxA Hornet. He knows Jackal.
I do know
and
Chris.
Squall.
Yes.
Chris is in Ohio there, and then Squall and Jackal. They're in there. They're in Ohio as well.
Evie,
so those
I know him.
Evie, yep. Evie is one of our Smash guys at the moment, but we are waiting for him. He will be coming home to the FGC team when Injustice 2 comes out.
Oh yes, that I was gonna mention that earlier, but we were going a little long. Injustice 2 is gonna be crazy, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we have Evie's position waiting for him on the FGC team as soon as Injustice 2 comes out. His slot is waiting for him on that team. He knows that. And we know Jackal will be switching to Injustice 2 as well. So we may not even open our doors for Injustice 2 based off those two already.
Well, I wouldn't blame you either, because they were both very good in the first Injustice. Yes, and they would definitely serve you well, I am sure. It's very interesting that you mean that. Going back to the news segment just a little bit for people, the announcements that might or might not be coming for MKXL, what those announcements are, and what they mean for Injustice 2 is just something I'd like people to think about out there on the airwaves. Is so MKXL, 3 seasons of ESL. Now what? They haven't announced the season 4. Ed Boon have not. Ed Boon is saying, we've got something going on for MKXL, but it's been now over a month since he made that announcement. Have things just gone south for whatever they were planning? Was he just trolling and hinting at nothing? And then now we've got Injustice 2, and my big question, and something I'd like people to think about, is Injustice 2 going to be picked up by ESL because it has comic book characters and is not NetherRealm's own sort of intellectual property? I want people to consider whether or not Injustice 2 is going to be in ESL. Maybe you guys have some inside information. That would be cool. But I'm just really curious.
It's an interesting question, and it's something we're wondering as well. We are excited to see what happens with Injustice 2. We're excited. I mean, we're excited for a bunch of games coming out. Injustice 2, Tekken 7, Gears of War 4. Those are 3 games on our horizon. In fact, those are 3 games we're already positioned for. We have 2 Tekken 7 players under our belt, BxA Cody, BxA Reflex. There are 2 Tekken 7 guys. Injustice 2, we've already talked about with Jackal and Eevee. Gears of War 4, we have 2 players who are looking for 3, so they're kind of already positioning themselves. And with all the Gears of War 4 news, I'm sure you heard of MLG Columbus was in Ohio this past weekend.
Right.
There was a big pro circuit announced for Gears, so we're super excited for that. Gears being our roots, so we're returning to that for sure. Like I said, we have a big... with BxA, we've got a lot going on with our players. We have, Godlike Saturday coming up. We have Super Smash Cons coming up. Revival of Northeast Ohio, which is a bi-weekly our guys are going to. Summer Jam, Endgame, and a big Halo event in September called 250 Events in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Chattanooga,
yeah. Sorry. Those are our events currently that I've been told about. That's all coming up for all of our guys, and that's like basically fighting games, Melee, Smash, and like I said, Halo for 250 events. So,
and for people listening, please remember that BxA is also going to the trouble of, for the watchers, for the people who want to be entertained, of developing this YouTube channel. So you might be thinking to yourself, oh, this is all great what she's saying, and they've got players here. What's that mean for me? Why should I care? Well, you should care because they're going to be providing you with tips and tricks for all of those games. If you're at all interested in playing Halo, Gears of War, their roots game, something that they're going to be very good at. All these players who are going to be good, they're certainly better than you listeners out there, well, most likely anyways. And so when you are hearing all of these things, I just want you to think, this is really cool because this team is not, like they said, they're not about just making a quick buck. They're about their BxA family, and they're about the esports itself, and they're about entertaining you. If I can make that reach for you all, I think that BxA is about also entertaining people out there who are interested in these games, and that's all part of growing the scene overall. So if I can make that reach, do you think that's fair?
Definitely, and I know all of our guys, I can speak for our players, when they stream, they're all about, if people are in their streams and they want to run in and hop in and run with them, whether it's doing sets in Street Fighter or if our I'll talk about our Overwatch team on Xbox. If our Overwatch team is our Overwatch guys, if they're just playing fun and not doing any scrims or practices, they're all about having people run and join their join their open lobbies and stuff. So anytime, just if you're in any of our players' streams and you want to join in on some of the action and the fun, type in chat, and I'm sure our guys would be down. Any of our players would be down to have you join in with them. So, check out our streams page, and, we actually have some more streams to be adding to that. We constantly update that when our players are telling us, hey, I'm streaming now. Some of our guys have full stream setups. Some of them are just streaming from their various consoles that they play. But, our players are all about interacting with their stream, the people who who join their streams and watch their streams. So, all of our players are down to earth, chill guys. They're not, all about themselves and those types of people. They're very chill, down to earth players. We pick those are the type of players we look for, so.
Absolutely. Well, I have a game of my own that I have specially prepared for the both of you. So before that, let's start the music. Alright, so I kind of gave you a hint before we started recording. We have got today's activities segment is going to be quotables, and there are 8 quotables from various different games that BxA currently has teams for, so no pressure on knowing everything about these games. But of course, I want to test your knowledge. Today's activity is going to be Quotables. And so, Quotables, who is that character? Since this podcast is with two guests, they will be taking turns. We'll have Jade go first for question 1, Dwight for question 2, Phoenix for question 2, and then so on and so forth. You'll get 1 lifeline if for whatever reason, because I have made these questions extremely hard, I assure you, for whatever reason, if you feel like you do not know the answer to a question, you will be able to ask the other once and only once throughout the course of the 8 questions for assistance. And that's your one and only lifeline. The goal is to get 5 out of 8 questions correct, and you will win, not prizes for anyone, but maybe one day if I get more listeners, but you'll have the prize of my heart if you can get 5 out of 8 questions correct. So, are we ready to play today's game?
Yes.
Excellent. Sure. Jade, you don't sound very excited.
This should be interesting.
Okay. Now, I do like to play it shouldn't be that hard, but, we'll see. I don't know. I've never been able to really gauge how hard my questions are. Anyways, question 1, I encourage the listeners at home to play along. Question 1, quote, Bastion, you would make the perfect research assistant. It is from the game Overwatch. One more time for the quote. Number 1. Bastion, you would make the perfect research assistant. Alright, so Jess, Jade, is it A, Mercy, who made this quote, B, Reinhardt, C, Diva, or D, May? Bastion, you would make the perfect research assistant. Mercy, Reinhardt, Diva, or May? Who do you think? Do you have to use your lifeline already?
No, I'm just...
Okay.
Give me a minute.
Yeah?
Look into it. And the sad thing is I've heard this quote too. That's the really sad part.
At least I made it relevant, right? That's good.
Yeah, no, and you have. And I play Overwatch on Xbox. That's the sad part.
Bastion, you would make the perfect research assistant. So you're thinking scientists. You're thinking somebody who would have a good relationship with Bastion. What do you think? Can you cut out any of the options? Mercy, Reinhardt, Diva, May. Any of them that you can scratch off?
What were the choices again?
Mercy, Reinhardt, Diva, or May. I'm a teacher, so I always tell students, there are a couple obvious ones in there that are not going to be it. So scratch those off. So who do you think is easily scratchable here?
I'm going to go with May.
You think May's the answer? Final answer?
Yeah.
You are correct. Very good. And you got the correct music. You can't hear it on the other side, but the listeners can, and it's always fun. So very good. Excellent. 1 out of 8 so far. 1 for 1. All right. So, Dwight, BxA Phoenix, ready for question 2? Quote 2?
Yep.
All right. Here we go. Here is your quote. Too close to the sun, get burned. From the game Smite. Again, too close to the sun, get burned. Is it A, Ra, B, Fenrir, C, Hercules, or D, Kukulkan? Hopefully I got the pronunciation right. So again, too close to the sun, get burned. Is it A, Ra, B, Fenrir, C, Hercules, or D, Kukulkan? Who do you think?
I'm going to have to go with Ra.
Final answer, you sure?
Yes.
You're correct. Very nicely done. All right. The sun is the hint there for sure. Ra, the god of the sun. All right. Very good, folks. 2 for 2 so far. Doing very well. So, Jade, back to you. Quote 3. Let's do some jackknife exercises from Smash Brothers for Wii U. So again, let's do some jackknife exercises. Is that a quote from Doc Louie, Wii Fit Trainer, Little Mac, or Ike? Who do you think? What are you thinking, Jade?
My Smash guys are going to kill me if I get this wrong.
Let's do some jackknife exercises. Who do you think would say that? We've got Doc Louie, Wii Fit Trainer, Little Mac, or Ike.
Little Mac?
You think Little Mac? Let's do some jackknife exercises. Final answer?
Yeah.
Unfortunately incorrect. It is actually the Wii Fit Trainer.
Yeah, they're going to kill me.
She/he is always about the exercises.
Luckily,
we know.
none of those characters are the guys my guys play, so they may not kill me.
Very good, very good. Okay, not bad, not bad. So we are 2 for 3 so far. Question 4, back to you, Phoenix. Quote, evolve or die. Make your choice from Killer Instinct. Again, evolve or die. Make your choice. Who would say this? A. Cinder, B. Arya, C. Riptor, or D. Kan-Ra? Who do you think?
That is a good question. I've heard that. I've heard that before.
Right, evolve or die. Make your choice. So it's somebody who's about evolution, somebody about killing others if they don't meet their standards. What are you thinking?
What were the question? Who were the answers again?
Yeah, we've got A. Cinder, B. Arya, C. Riptor, or D. Kan-Ra.
I'm gonna have to go out on a limb here and say E.
D. Kan-Ra.
Arya.
Oh, you say B.
No.
Arya.
B. Arya.
Arya, you are correct. Very good. Yes, the sentient AI Arya, much like the AI from any dystopian strange robot movie, wants you to evolve or otherwise die. So yes, very good. Excellent. All right. So we are now 3 for 4. Question 5 to you, Jade. A real man only needs one knockout punch to finish any fight. A real man only needs one knockout punch to finish any fight. This is from Tekken 7. Is it A. Yoshimitsu, B. Ganryu, C. Paul Phoenix, or D. Heihachi Mishima?
Paul Phoenix?
It is, yes, C. Paul Phoenix. Very good. Excellent. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Hey, my Tekken 7 guys will be happy they're with us then.
I can't imagine any other character really saying that. Paul has just got such a big personality as a character. All right.
He does.
So we're doing really well. I think, no, that's not quite. So we are 4 for 5. So one more correct answer and you'll all get the victory music. I love playing the victory music. I haven't had to play the dastardly, failure, defeat music yet. So the dark side of me wants to play that music, but I certainly hope that you folks can stave off the defeat music for another episode. So, question 6 for you, Phoenix. We hunger for new souls from Mortal Kombat. We hunger for new souls. Is this A. Kenshi, B. Ermac, C. Devora, or D. Kotal Khan?
I'm going to have to go with Ermac.
Oh, you are absolutely correct, sir. I made that one too easy. Goodness.
Yeah.
All right,
I
now.
think it's easy ones.
I didn't mean for it, I swear. Okay. No, you're going to hate me for this one then, Jay, because this is now we're getting to 7 and 8. Well, actually, you guys have earned the victory music. So very good. Make sure you listen back to that because it is wonderful. But anyways, so this is really just for the credit, just for saying that you beat down all my questions, which you have for the most part. Darn it. Question 7. Does it sting? That's the power of a martial arts champion. This is from Street Fighter V. Does it sting? That's the power of a martial arts champion. Is it Ken, Ryu, Fei Long, or Karen, or Karine, depending on who you ask? What do you think, Jade?
Why does it have to be a question for none of the characters any of my guys play?
Well, I can give you this, is that not all these characters are even in Street Fighter V, so you can definitely knock one off.
Who are the characters again?
We've got Ken, Ryu, Fei Long, or Karen or Kirin.
Okay, well, you knock off Fei Long.
Correct, yes.
I know that much.
Yeah, so who amongst the three remaining would be most likely to say something such as, "Does it sting? That's the power of a martial arts champion."
D?
You think Karen?
Yeah.
Unfortunately incorrect. It doesn't matter. It's actually Ken. Good old Ken. He always does all the talking while Ryu does all the actual fighting. So,
yeah.
that's okay. I do not blame you if you hate me after this podcast. I have
I
made the
don't.
questions unintentionally hard. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
The teacher
Listen, you
in
pick
me...
characters none of my guys really play.
The teacher in me is like, I should have diagnosed the level at which my students were at better. I should have had more appropriate questions for the
see, if you'd
student
gone like
population.
with like the college questions and stuff,
Yeah.
that I didn't know, or at least Bulldog, because
See,
my God,
yeah,
I'd
I
be using
didn't
Bulldog.
make these questions relevant to my student population. Darn it, I tell you.
There you go.
I tell you.
Okay.
All right. Well, we've got one more just for the fun of it, and it is our final quote of the day. Remember, folks, please play along while you are listening. Behold the power of Aura. Also from Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Behold the power of Aura. So, Phoenix, is this a quote from Shulk, Robin, Lucina, or Lucina, I've heard of both, and then Lucario? Who do you think?
Now, if you get this one wrong, some of our guys might be disappointed in you, because some of them are playing some of these stuff.
Behold the power of Aura. Shulk, Robin, Lucina, or Lucario?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna have to say Shulk.
I think Shulk. Final answer?
Yes.
Unfortunately not. No, it's Lucario creating the Aura Ball, shooting them out. And I thought it was strange that a Pokemon talked. So
Yeah,
I didn't know why he had a quote, but that's why it's question 8 meant to be the hardest question.
I was gonna
You
say
got that one, don't
Lucario
you?
too.
Well, so I'll keep working on my questions for future podcasts, so shame on me. I'll take a smack on the hand for that one.
You did good. Those were fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad you had a good time. So, folks, again, for all you listeners out there, again, we are doing a listener challenge for August. The listener challenge segment, as you may or may not know, is a series of 2 questions, one given at the end of each podcast in the month. As long as you send me correct answers to both questions by the end of the month, you'll be entered to win August's prize. So, listener challenge segment 1. All of the BxA fam are welcome to participate. Just don't shout out any answers in the podcast. You all are not barred from participating. If you happen to know the answers to both questions, send those in. And folks, you can send your correct answers in to powerupfighters@gmail.com. I would really love to see some answers this month, even incorrect ones. Just give me something in my inbox. I'm telling you. I'll reply anyways and just say, I love you for trying. But anyways, today's listener challenge is a poem. I do love doing these sort of limerick challenges. So, for Season 6, Episode 5, listen very carefully and fill in the word at the end. It is only one word, I will give you that hint, and it does rhyme, or at least near rhyme. Today's poem is, To improve is to grind, and you must manage your time. Despite its perils and pitfalls, you may wish to play blank. So it's a where question. For those of you listening, I'll give you another hint to make it a little easier. And let me repeat the poem. To improve is to grind, and you must manage your time. Despite its perils and pitfalls, you may wish to play where. And there you go. So, folks, again, if you can listen, or if you will listen, please, to Season 6, Episode 5, and then, of course, the upcoming Season 6, Episode 6, send in correct answers to both of the listener challenges. You'll be entered to win a prize for the month of August. So, Phoenix, Jade, do you feel like either of you know what the answer might be?
I have an idea, but I don't want to
don't
spoil it for everyone else.
Keep it to yourself. Perhaps send it to me after you listen to Season 6, Episode 6, if you've got a good idea of what both answers might be. Give it a shot. I'd be very interested to know if you can get it. What about you, Jade? What do you think? Do you think you have a handle on this?
I have an idea, yeah, but I'm going to keep it quiet.
Keep it to yourself. All right. Well, folks, thanks so much for joining us for Season 6, Episode 5 with BxA Jade and BxA Phoenix. Very informative podcast. I thank you both for being on. If you would please like to leave us, whoever would like to go first, with some more plugs, shout outs, and maybe some final thoughts. So whoever would like to go first, go right ahead.
Oh, I guess I'll go first.
There you go.
I guess I'll give a shout out to all of our current, active, inactive military service members that have been and will always be a part of Broken Alliance.
Very cool. Very awesome. And then Jade?
I just want to give a special shout out to all of the current BxA players. You guys are doing phenomenal jobs out there. We love you guys. And just keep up your hard work. And you guys, you know, your BxA family, so keep it up, guys.
Very cool. Well, again, thank you both so much for being on the PowerUp podcast. For you listeners out there, all of the relevant links, anything that you need to connect with, learn about, help out, maybe even apply to be a part of BxA Broken Alliance Gaming, all of those links will, of course, be in the description of this podcast on YouTube. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you later.